was up there, and she's like, and you get a mansion, and you get a mansion, and
She's so good at giving things.
she's good at giving things
Yeah.
away. And so,
She doesn't give me anything.
so this is like,
Welcome back to Bible Bites, where we take large biblical concepts into bite-sized pieces. So you guys today get an Andy special, which means Andy came up with the topic. I know nothing about it, and I'll be learning right along with each and every one of you, and I'll be asking a lot of questions, just like you will, I hope. So we're going to take it back KJV style, the ye's, the thous, and the arts. And John 14, so dust off that KJV, follow along.
What is KJV?
King James Version.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You got it.
Thank
you know it. We all know and love it. Maybe. Okay. 14:1, John 14:1, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know. So tell us who's talking, what's he talking about? We obviously hear a lot about mansions. I think most of us grew up in the church hearing that, and I have specific blueprints for God to design for me. No, I'm kidding.
Have you submitted those blueprints?
No.
Okay. So I always imagine like a good talk show or something, and Oprah's up there and she's like, and you get a mansion, and you get a mansion, and
She's so good at giving
she's
things.
good at giving things
Yeah.
away, and so
She doesn't give me anything.
So this is like Jesus up here, like, you get a mansion, and we all get mansions, and mine's gonna be on this street, and yours is gonna be on that street. I hope we're neighbors and all of that.
I love
and
it.
So I love talking about this text. It's because it's not right exactly in the KJV, and I think that it points to something very different from what it's supposed to be pointing to.
Well, and also it's very interesting because we read the NIV before this, and it doesn't say mansions, but this is what we quote in church.
This is what we quote in church.
We quote the KJV in church. So tell us a little bit about that.
And if you look at a bunch of other translations, none of them say mansions. They all say something else.
I had no idea there wasn't mansions
They
in
all
NIV
say rooms.
until we read it just now.
Yeah, I usually read the ESV. Some people would not like that, but that's a version I prefer, but that's okay. In the King James Version, they had a limited number of manuscripts when they were translating this. And they were using a lot of Latin to translate from.
Well, stop there. They had a limited number of manuscripts. What have we found since then?
A lot of manuscripts.
Okay, so there's a lot more data we have in translating the Bible from when this
Way
particular translation was written.
Yeah, the King James Version, some people say 1611, that it's actually like 17 something. I don't remember the latest version of it, but it was translated from just a very reduced number of manuscripts. And so what we have today, and that's why we have new versions coming out, because they're trying to just piece things together more accurately. And by accurately, like an example would be like, what is the Greek word that was in the original language? What did they say? You might have a manuscript that says this and another manuscript that says a different word. And you're talking thousands of manuscripts. And so usually, the majority of them will be the same, and there might be a few outliers. And so, but the problem we have here is in the Latin. So there's a word there, monai or monet, in the Greek.
Is it Monet or Manai? Because I think everyone's going to go home and need to know
So
this.
monet is the uninflected form. So monai is the inflected form of the word. But in the text, it's manai. And so we have this word, and then it's been translated to the Latin, which is I don't know Latin, mancio, I think, or mancia.
Probably.
Something
I know Latin.
like that.
Sounds right.
And so in the Latin, that sounds a lot like mansion. It's just missing the N. Mancio, if you mancio, just missing the N, that's all. And so when they went to translate it from Latin to English in the King James Version, they thought, well, actually they translated it to Old English, which Old English mansion actually meant room. It meant living space. And so it worked, and it slowly developed until the word mansion in English meant big house, right?
It was honest oopsie.
It was an honest oopsie.
It kind of shows what we see some scriptures like this of how there was, because there's so many different culture shifts from when different translations existed, and how, there's lots of verses in there just aren't totally accurate, but wasn't on purpose.
Right, right. And this, we're talking the translation. We're not saying that God's word is inaccurate.
No.
We're saying that our attempt to change the
I'm
language.
not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that either. Our attempt to take it from one language to another language, sometimes we make minor mistakes, and that's okay. We got to pause and say that there's no reason to be afraid of that. Like, we don't need to fear that there's minor things in there that we're always working to get better and to correct
Always
and to
getting-
fix. That doesn't discredit God's word or diminish God's word. But let's just wrap this up.
Yeah,
So,
because you said something before this about the history, the culture context of this verse. Of what was it? What did
Okay.
you say? Knowing.
So in this, it says, actually in the ESV, I'll read, it says, "In my Father's house, there are many rooms. And if it were not so, I would have told you. But don't you know, if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and I will take you there, and you will be there with me." Jesus is using the language of marriage. And this is what a father, or what a son would do. He would go out and he would find a wife, and he would return home without his wife, and he would build a room onto his father's home complex. And when things were completed, he would go back out and he would bring her with him. And Jesus is using this exact language. He's not saying, "Oh my gosh, you're going to live in this great wealth. Don't you know that there's all these mansions and all these big things?" That's a very Western idea that we have laid over this just unfortunate in translation, I guess. But what he's trying to say is, there's a place for you. There's a place for you to belong in my Father's house. There's a place for you to be. There's a community and a family where you belong. And don't you know that if I go away, I'm going to return back? And he's using that language of the marriage, and he's saying, I'm going to come back and I'm going to get you. Don't be afraid. Don't be startled. And I'm going to bring you home, because there's a place where you belong.
And there's a community aspect to
community
it, which
aspect
is
to
really
that.
cool, because
Absolutely.
their homes, like you said, were kind of
Yeah.
attached, which is interesting.
Yeah, which goes throughout the whole New Testament. We can't get into that today, but the whole idea of community versus individualism is huge in the Bible.
Huge. It's huge.
It's huge. I tell
All
you.
right. Well, that's all we have. Do you have anything else
Nope.
to add? Okay. That's all we have for our
No
Andy.
mansions in the Bible.
Well, one for me. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. No mansions in the Bible. If that bursts your bubble, heaven's still going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. It's going to be
And-
better.
It's going to be great. And that's all we have for Bible Bites today. Thank you, Andy, for the Andy special.